Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone. Woohoo! So glad you are here. I want to welcome everyone who's here live with us. Terry and Jill and Curtis and Gay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just share with you. First of all, welcome Barbara. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So good to see you here and to have you. Give me a second because for some reason your bio was not right here. So I want to just, but in the meantime, while I'm pulling this up, I just want you all to know I've known Barbara for about a year now, and we have partnered up, and she just does amazing work with people online. Barbara, I think you might need to send this to me. I don't know why it's not here.
Oh, okay. No problem. Okay. One sec.
Yeah.
I was just saying how I'm having like serious technical issues today. I'm having to speak with you guys from my kitchen because I'm actually preparing for a challenge I'm hosting next week. And so my main computer is completely just log jammed with trying to render the videos for that. So
oh my God.
Kitchen. Should I just put it in the
just email it to me real quick. I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sorry about that, everybody. I thought it was here and it wasn't. So in the meantime, please put in why you're here, what inspired you to show up, what are you looking to learn today, so we have some idea of where you guys are coming from. I always want to know what inspired people to show up.
Yeah, and it helps me as well to make sure that I'm addressing you guys right where you're at instead of talking about stuff that just, it's like not interesting to you.
Yeah, we want to serve you guys at the highest level. So, and I apologize for this. So tell me when you send it. And for some reason, I didn't have it here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I thought it was to get to my chat.
How do you get to the chat? At the bottom, you'll see a little button that says chat, and it's right there. And then you can just put in right at the bottom. Can you see that, Gay?
No, for some reason it's not showing. So
are you on a computer? Are you on a computer?
Yes.
Okay, great. So at the very bottom, you'll see chat, participants, share screen, all the stuff at the very bottom of the window, and it should be right there.
Yeah, it's not showing. I don't know why. It's my technical difficulties, so I'm not ignoring.
All right, well, why don't you just share verbally while we're getting everything together here about why you're here, what inspired you to show up?
Your great presentation yesterday.
Oh.
It was amazing. And it made me realize that there are things that I'm not doing that I didn't know.
Right, there's always those things that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
So, cool. All right, well, Barbara, I think we'll just get going, and I just
sent it to you, Deb.
Oh, you did? All right, great, awesome. All right, cool. Give me a second. Yeah, Mercury must be in retrograde because I thought the bio was right here, ready to go. So it hasn't shown up yet.
Something is definitely messing with us.
Let's see.
Well, I can just read it to you if you want.
Yeah, well, we'll have you introduce yourself. So I just want to personally say, Barbara and I met last year. She does all online stuff. She's incredible in terms of marketing. We're just such great partners because she doesn't teach the follow-up, and she teaches all the stuff to help you get clients, and then I help you to follow up with those prospective clients. So I'll let Barbara just share more about who she is, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Deb. Yeah, so Debbie is amazing, and I love partnering with people who really focus on sales because I'm really focused on marketing. Really what I do, I work with what I call change makers. Primarily, these are people who are help cause transformation in the lives of others, right? And the internet is this amazingly wonderful tool that we've had like for the first time ever to be able to reach people all around the globe with just a keystroke. And yet it is, for most people, just the most foreign confusing, overwhelming place to try to get noticed. And so what I do is really help to demystify and simplify online client attraction for specifically coaches and other change makers.
And what, like, who, everybody needs that right now, right? Because everybody has to do their business online now. So it's just such an amazing time for us to be doing this interview. We've been talking about this for months, and it is the perfect time because everybody has to have strategies and skills for attracting clients online. So love what you're doing, Barbara, and so happy you're here with us today. All right, cool. So what we're going to do is, if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat. If it feels good to Barbara, she'll answer them as they go. If not, we'll answer them at the end, but we want to get your questions answered. We want this to be interactive. So please comment your takeaways as you're hearing things. Love you to share what your insights are, your ahas, whatever comes up for you, and questions, of course, okay? All right, so Barbara, with COVID, so many entrepreneurs are turning to the internet to attract clients, but there's so much to take in that people are getting overwhelmed. I hear this all the time. It's like, what do I do first? Like, how do I deal with this? So as an online marketing expert, what do you suggest people focus on to get started? Like, what should they focus on first?
It's a great question. And yes, you're right. There are lots of people now who can't attract clients through their normal channels, networking, speaking, that kind of a thing. And so they're turning to the internet, which is great. One of the reasons I love attracting clients online is that it enables, for me personally, it lets me work from home. I don't have to schlep around to networking events. I can, but that's just not my thing. And I can travel all over the world and still be attracting clients. But let me answer your question. So because there is just a dizzying array of things that everybody is telling you need to do, right? Oh, you need to have, sales funnel and a webinar and a this and a that and a lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, right? So I am going to give you 2 words, and this is what you need to focus on first before anything else, and that is lead generation. So lead generation, right? So in the offline world, that looks like going to networking events and meeting new people, right? So there's 2 kinds of marketing. Basically, this is true for offline and online, but it becomes very critical when we're thinking about online, which is, you can think about the internet as this vast ocean of people, vast, right? And unfortunately, when we network, we have a huge advantage because when you meet somebody in person, there's an immediate transference of knowledge about that person. You know immediately if you like them, if you don't, if you feel resonant with them, if you trust them. So we don't have that advantage online. So it's just like this vast, vast, vast ocean. So 2 kinds of marketing, and we need to get really clear about them so that we make sure that the activities that we're doing, the things that we're doing to market ourselves, we're doing them in the right order. And to do that, we have to know what they are. So the 2 kinds of marketing are nurture and attraction. Another word for attraction is lead generation. Okay, so nurture marketing is basically, creating content or connecting with people who are already in your community. People that know you already, right? They've already said yes to being a part of your community. So attraction marketing or lead generation is getting those people, getting in front of strangers so you can get those people into your community so you can nurture them, right? Does that make sense to everybody? So one of the biggest mistakes that people make, I made this myself, is just producing content and putting it out in the world as if you're nurturing somebody. But if you haven't attracted people yet, you're nurturing nobody, right? So I came into the online world about 7 years ago, And this was one of many, many mistakes that I made myself. Okay, so we don't have enough time to go over all of them, but I'll give you the top ones that I see in common with other people. So I came into this world again so I could work from my home, right? I had been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. I've had several multi-6 and 7-figure businesses. I came online, I said, I'm tired of having an office and a warehouse and blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to, help people hear from my home. How hard could this be, I thought? How hard could it be to attract clients online? Well, that was my first mistake. Don't ever ask the universe how hard something can be unless you really want to know the answer. So,
Exactly. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, exactly. I got what I asked for. So I started following all the advice of that time, which is, produce content. They said, just put it up, just get content going, content. So I started posting on Facebook and writing blogs. I even started a podcast. I was just burning with all the content. And again, as I said before, what I didn't realize was that I was just, on Facebook, it was my friends that were liking my content. Oh, that's nice, Barb, but they weren't my potential clients, right? There was nobody was coming to my podcast. I had no visitors to my blog. So what I was actually doing is creating nurture content, but I had not done any lead generation activities yet. So I had nobody to nurture. So my stuff was just going out there flapping in the breeze. Can anybody relate to that? Right? That's the quickest way to wrap yourself up in busy work and just get completely overwhelmed and get zero results. So I was trying to nurture people before I had actually attracted them. So really what we want to do is do lead generation activities first before, and content is at the base of both of those activities. It's how you use it that defines its purpose, if that makes sense. So content that we use for lead generation is often referred to as a lead magnet. But in reality, all content is a lead magnet. It's how you use it that defines its purpose. So the second mistake that I made is that I was just talking about whatever I wanted to talk about, right? What I thought people needed to know, right? So that was really a big mistake that I made, is that I wasn't targeting anybody, right? I was just talking about what I thought, here's what you all need to know, right? I was a business coach. I've had, successful businesses before. So I'm like, here's what you need to know. And I wasn't really talking to anybody specifically.
Wow. That's a big problem. Because we need to know like the language. We need to use the language, right? That our clients use, right?
Hello.
Because yeah. And it's so, I think this is a mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make when they first start their business. I was one of those that I just thought, okay, I'm just going to share what I think they need to know. And I didn't do the market research to find out what their problem was, what words they were using. And so I'm really grateful that you're being so authentic and sharing these mistakes, because people can really, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. So didn't you have, so it sounds like you didn't have like an ideal client in mind, like you didn't have someone specific you were targeting. So how did you create content if you didn't have like an ideal client or an avatar to focus on?
Right. Great question. And back up for a second. So didn't I have an ideal client in mind? I mean, I should know better, right? I should know better. And honestly, I did. So I did have an ideal client in mind, or an avatar, what we call an avatar, an ideal client. So I did. And that was my third mistake. Not that I had an ideal client in mind, but my third mistake was that I created an imaginary avatar, and that's who I was speaking to.
Imaginary. Tell me, say more about that.
That's it. This is what I was taught to do, and most of us do. Us business coaches, we teach people, well, you know, it's a chicken and egg conversation, right? So before you can create content or talk, you got to get clear on who your ideal client is. You have to create an avatar, right? And we, you know, I had created this whole elaborate, you know, avatar, and I see so many people. I have so many clients that come to me with like pages written about their avatar, right? Oh, Sally, and she, you know, lives in a nice suburb and has 2.5 kids, and she's happy with this, but secretly at night she kind of, you know, really elaborate things. Well, here's what I discovered: if you want imaginary clients, you want to create an imaginary avatar. Right? So there was the problem, and this is absolutely a chicken and egg problem, because you're like, well, before I've actually got clients, how do I know who this person is? Right? So you really want to base your avatar. You want to always talk about real people, or not talk about, but you want to think about. The way to create an avatar is to think about real people, get into their brain, to understand what their problems are, okay? So I was doing what so many people did. I had an avatar, an imaginary avatar, and I was writing to them and solving their problems. And was I attracting any of those people? I was attracting imaginary people because my avatar was imaginary. So this is where so many people get stuck. They pick some kind of arbitrary avatar, which is exactly what I did. And here's the thing, and then they start thinking, oh, I'll just start writing to them, right? And typically what they do is they pick somebody, I've seen this more often than not, oh, I help 30-year-old or over 40-year-old executive high-level women, you know, blah, da, 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 da. And they're picking that because they think that person has money to invest in their services. So here's the thing, you guys, you know, people will, whether people have money or not has almost nothing to do with their willingness to invest in your services, right? So what we need to do is to is to demonstrate that we can solve a problem that they have. And then human beings are absolutely amazing, unlimited beings, and we will find the money that we need when somebody can come to us and say, when somebody has identified that they can address the problem that we have that we think is keeping us from a desired outcome, we will come up with the money that we need. Right? So that's the first thing we really have to do, is figure out who that person is and what those problems are. But that's a little chicken and egg problem there, right? Because how do we figure that out if we haven't had clients yet? And even if you have, it still can be kind of confusing and very difficult to figure this out. So the way to do that, the answer to that question, how do we figure that out first, is to focus on lead generation activities first, as I said in the beginning. Focus on attracting people first. Now, this is going to sound a little weird. Focus on attracting people first before you really figure out who it is that you want to attract. That's kind of contrary to what you hear from most business and marketing coaches, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. So let's unpack that a bit. Share more about that.
So how do you attract people if you aren't targeting them in the first place, right? So here's the thing. How do you figure out, or how do you attract people if you don't know who you're trying to attract? Well, you do that by creating what I call magnetic content. So the other big mistake that people make is they get stuck with their messaging. They think that the reason they're not attracting people is that they can't figure out the right words to get people to see how powerful their services are. right? Who hasn't had that problem? Like, you're so frustrated. You're like, oh gosh, I know I can help you, right? And you're like, well, I don't have the right title. Oh, I didn't say the right words. You know, but here's the thing. Here's a little truth bomb for you guys. What you do, the processes that you use to do it, and how you help people is largely uninteresting to most people. Sorry. But
The process, people don't care about the
they
process.
don't care about the process. They don't even care what you do. But what do they care about? They care about the problems that they think are getting in the way of a desired outcome that they're wanting. They think that that's what they care about. So what we need to do is simply hone in on what those problems are and use those to create magnetic content.
Yeah.
Now, when we start meeting people where they're at and the problems that they think that they're experiencing, people come to you. They will start coming around you. They'll opt in for your lead magnet. They'll sign up for your interview. They'll come to your webinar. Whatever it is, when you have clearly identified what they think is a problem that's keeping them, and sometimes we can identify it before they're even conscious of it, before they're even thinking, you know, the problem is I can't figure out my ideal client. Well, and then you see something that's, you know, says how to figure out your ideal client. You go, oh, I bet you that's my problem. I should explore this, right? So when we do that, we start attracting our tribe. So this is a concept that I have, is that I've noticed, really, I've observed just in working with hundreds of clients before, and even just in my personal life, and perhaps you guys can relate. You know, if you've ever been to a networking event or some, you know, big conference or something where you're meeting a lot of people, and you notice that there are people there who, you know, you can help, like you talk to them and you go, oh my gosh, this person has a problem that I can totally help them with, but you just can't get them interested. You guys ever had that experience? They're like, you know, you're just chomping at the bit going, oh my gosh, I can, you know, and they're just, and, you know, they kind of run off, but then somebody else comes into your sphere and they're just like, you don't even have to, you can ask them what they had for lunch and they, you know, they're plugged into you right away. Well, I call those people your tribe. So what we want to do is attract your tribe, the people who are going to be most conducive, most eager to work with you. They're going to resonate with you and your messaging the most. And how we do that is we want to identify the topics, the problems that they think are keeping them stuck. When we can clearly identify those, then we can produce content that attracts more. So how do we do that? Well, we first just need to attract a few or come up with a few topics based on real people, not imaginary avatars, but real people, and then start talking about those. We attract people. Now we talk to those people and ask them basically, who are you? We get more information. We can do this in discovery calls. We can do this in events like this, where we're asking you to put stuff in the chat, but we want to constantly be learning more, uncovering more of those problems, creating more topics that address those problems. And that's how we can attract our tribe, the people who are going to be most willing to invest in our services before we're really even crystal clear on who they are.
You know, let's pause for a second, just have everyone just put in the chat what their biggest challenge is with online marketing. Would that be helpful for you to see that? Yeah, so put in, and while we're doing that, Jill had said that her, the reason she showed up today is because she's going from working within someone else's structure to building her own client base and eager to learn best practices. Awesome, Jill. Okay. And
Perfect.
Curtis, you sent me something privately, so I don't know if it's okay to share it or not, but maybe you meant to share it, send it to everybody. I don't want to share it unless you give me permission. Targeting is the biggest challenge. Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're in the right place. So tell you what, let's do a little example. And I can do this with you, Deb, or I can do it with somebody on the call, but let's dive in and figure out some magnetic topics so I can demonstrate how this works. Can I use you as a guinea pig, Deb?
Sure, of course.
Awesome.
Of course.
All right. So the main thing with figuring out a magnetic topic is that you use what I call a temporary avatar. So I call them a temporary avatar because, well, two things. Number one, this is a real person, no more imaginary people like dreaming something up in your head, a real person you've talked to, worked with, something like that. And if you can't think of anybody, if you haven't worked with anybody, I don't think that's anybody on this call, but a past version of yourself is also one. All right. Now, Deb, we talked a little bit about this, and you have a temporary avatar in mind. Oh, and the reason I call them temporary is that we're not defining your forever ideal client here. We're not niching you. We're just simply using this person temporarily to get into their mind and find the topics that are the problems that are going to attract more like them. The more we do this and produce this content, the more we're going to find these people. And then we'll start seeing a common thread among these people that it's got nothing to do with how old they are or how much money they have or if they're a high level executive. It's much deeper than that. It's much deeper than that. Okay, so Deb, do you have a temporary avatar in mind?
I do.
Okay, and can you share a name? You can make one up, that's fine. But
Let's say Mary.
The name can be made up.
Her name is Mary.
Mary, all right. So when you met Mary, what did she say was keeping her stuck? Well, first of all, let's find out what she wants. She wants clients, I'm assuming, because you're, okay. So she wants clients, and that's the frame. What people want is the frame. So what was keeping her stuck? What was keeping her from getting clients? And what did she think was keeping her from getting clients?
Yeah. In her words, she said that she was really scattered. She's a business coach and she had no process for following up with people. She was exhausted, so she was not working efficiently or effectively. She wasn't having a lot of people saying yes to working with her. So when she was doing discovery sessions, her conversion was low, was very low. She wasn't getting referrals because she didn't have a process for asking for them. She had no CRM, no system in place. So she was just a mess.
So hang on. Okay, great. Perfect. This is great. So some of those things were coming out of her mouth and some of them were what you were saying, whenever you said because she didn't have, like those are like you looking. So think of Mary as being inside a jar and these are what the problems she sees as being. And then there's you, the expert, looking from the outside in at Mary, identifying what you realize her problems are. So this is the mistake that we make, is that we're talking in our content, we're talking about the problems we know people are having, but what we want to do to attract them is talk about what they think the problems are. Now, here's what makes this magnetic, and this is really key. To really get your marketing to attract the right people and just attract anybody in the first place, you want to meet people where they're at, with the problems that they think that they are having, the reasons that they think they're stuck, and bring them to a new understanding of those problems. So that is really the job of marketing. That is the job of marketing. Now, in your case, a lot of that stuff that you said, most of it I think you said came from her mouth, but some of it was stuff that you said, well, because you don't have a CRM, right? So what wouldn't be a magnetic topic, for example, is, 3 ways to set up a CRM. Well, if you don't realize that you need a CRM, you're not going to resonate.
Exactly.
That, right?
Exactly.
But if we wanted to attract more like Mary, perhaps what we would have a magnetic topic would be something like, let's see, 3. So you said she's overwhelmed and she doesn't have tell me again what came out of her mouth.
So she said that she didn't have a lot of success from her discovery sessions. She didn't have a lot of people to even talk to. She didn't have a lead generation system. She just didn't have enough people.
So Mary is right. There's probably 6 magnetic topics that can come from Mary alone. Okay, so one could be like 3 ways to get somebody to a yes in a discovery call. So, right, so Mary identified that she's not getting people, she's not closing people in her discovery calls. So that would be, and then in that training or that content, you would say, so listen, everybody thinks that the problem is that they are not able to, they need some secret language in order to close people, that they're not gonna, but what they really need is a follow-up system, because, and I know Deb, you talk about this and so wonderfully, you know, if you're just talking to cold leads all day, you're missing the low-hanging fruit, which is all these other people. And if you have a follow-up system in place, then you're going to have a much higher close rate. So do you see what I did is I took that one of the problems that she identified and I created a bridge and brought her to what you know the problem actually is, and got her to think about a follow-up system in the content. So that's what good marketing will do. What most of us do is that we talk about our thing all the time and we forget to meet people where they're at. So another one, you said she's not getting leads. Well, you could have some, you know, a magnetic topic would be the 3 best ways to generate more leads when you aren't having enough sales conversations. Same thing. You would, in that training, and it doesn't have to be 3 ways, by the way, I'm just using that as a thing. So in your training, you would talk about, hey, everybody's going out there trying to generate leads, trying to get in front of new people. You've got a whole pool of people that you've already been in front of, but you don't have a follow-up system. So that's what you really need. So again, we're creating this bridge between, we're meeting people where they're at and what they think the problem is, and we're bringing them to a new understanding or a mindset shift of that problem, which is what our expertise is. So this is how you attract your tribe. So here's the thing that I have observed to be true is that everybody's tribe has different problems. If I'm a weight loss coach and there's another weight loss coach here, there's 2 things that would distinguish us both. One is the people that are naturally attracted to us are going to be stuck in different problems, right? So those magnetic topics, those problems, like my people might feel like, oh, I'm hungry all the time, so I just can't stick to a diet. And this other coach might be attracting people who, you know, have some other, they think the problem is that they, I don't know, what other problem might there be? I'm not good at this quick thing, but, you know, they might think that the problem is that they think diets don't work for them. Okay, so the 2 things that distinguish us, that make us each unique, is the people that we attract will have different sets of problems that they think, and then our solutions are different. So this weight loss coach might think that the might be advocating a keto or a paleo diet, and this person might be advocating gut health or, you know, probiotic kind of a approach to weight loss. And you see what I'm saying? So those 2 things are what distinguish us and help us, you know, when we really understand the other person. Remember, business is a relationship. So when we really dive into who our tribe is and what they think the problem is, and that's going to be the common thread, not if they're over 40 or, you know, rich or whatever. And then our unique perspective on solving that problem.
Love that. Wow. So would love you all to chat, takeaways so far and any questions you have. And then Curtis did say he was here to master online skills. So cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Gabe has mentioned identifying problems. And
Yeah.
Gabe, that's a great question. And the best way to do that is, again, talk to people, you know, ask them questions. So you want XYZ. What's the biggest challenge that's keeping you from that? So when you start, all you need to do is just, when I say talk to, I really mean ask questions and listen. That's the solution for the whole world right now.
I know.
Listen, listen, ask questions and listen. Okay?
Get curious. I always talk about that. Get curious, ask powerful questions, and be a good listener. So I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I share with my clients to call people and not to try to sell them, not to try to get them to be a client, but just to ask questions about what problems they're having, what struggles they're having, what challenges they're having around whatever you help people with. And then you use that language in your marketing. You use that language everywhere.
Yeah. So instead of having 3 ways to create a great follow-up system, you would have 3 ways to get a person to say yes in a discovery call, and then you bring them to the follow-ups. You bring them to your solution.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what magnetic content is, and then figuring out, identifying who your ideal client is well. Here's this is what my clients call this a barbism. I have many of them, right? So the process of building a thriving online business is the process of deepening your understanding of your ideal client.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all it is. This is constant back and forth. And the more you understand, the more you ask. Discovery calls are one of the best places for it. And they're always successful, because you will always, if you have this approach, if you always know that you're going to get one of two things out of a discovery call, either a client or information.
Right, exactly.
Use the information to create more magnetic topics, right? And then you attract more people, you deepen your understanding, and so on and so on.
I love this. I just had a huge aha around. This was so good. I don't know if you all heard this, so I want to repeat this. So whatever you call the conversation you have with people, where they're interested in learning about what you do, a discovery session, enrollment conversation, complimentary session, whatever it is, you just meet with somebody depending on your business, and they're not a yes. They're not ready to say yes to working with you. Maybe they're just not ready, whatever. The gift there's always the gift in the conversation, because you have their language. You've asked questions. Hopefully you've gotten them to reveal their problems, their challenges, their struggles. And you can use that now when you're talking to your next potential client, or in your marketing, or on your Facebook page, wherever you're advertising. So I love that. There's just that golden, that silver lining, that blessing. Even if they're not a yes, you still get so much value from that conversation. So I love how you frame that, Barb. That's fabulous. That's really good. Oh, I think she froze. Oh, you froze for a minute.
Ah. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was me that froze or you. Yeah, exactly. It's funny,
So
every
fabulous.
time. Thank you. Every time I have a discovery call, the next day, that person's, their problems are expressed in an email to my list, right? It's
Exactly.
New perspective from this person. And the more I do this, the more I see the commonality. It's like, they're another person that thinks this is the problem.
Yeah.
And the more adept I get at speaking into that problem and bringing people to a new understanding, bridging that, what they think is the problem and what I know to actually be the problem instead.
Exactly. I love what Gay said. I've interviewed people. I get they are depressed, overwhelmed, hate COVID, feel stuck. So those are words now that you'll use. And Jill said that's a great way of looking at discovery calls. I totally agree, Jill. I just that was just a fabulous. So even if you get a no, there's still such a blessing and so many gifts, right, from that conversation. That is just brilliant. So Curtis asked, how do you develop that list?
Well, yes. So that's a great question. Can I talk about my challenge now, Deb?
Yeah, I was gonna invite you to do that, and then you can answer Curtis's question, because I know you have this amazing challenge coming out, and please share about it, because it's very exciting.
That's a whole other training. How do you develop that list? Brilliant question. That was where I got stuck when I was right. And so there's two things. There are the content that you create, and then lead generation activities. So that's all you need to do to build a list. You have to have the right content and the right lead generation activities. So this challenge I'm hosting, it's called the Attract Your Tribe Challenge, is all about, it's a 5-step challenge, 5-day challenge, where I'm going to teach you exactly how to create magnetic content. I take you through that process. And then I think the most valuable part really is that I'm going to teach you the 3 different methods of lead generation online, how to generate leads online, the activities you need to do to get that content in front of strangers, and then invite you to pick the one that's the best for you. So it's very clear and concise. There's only 3 ways to generate leads online. These are what they are. I go into them in quite detail. But first I want to teach you how to extract those magnetic topics. Deb just put the link to join that challenge in the chat there. So first, I'm going to load your lips with magnetic content. So I'm going to take you through that process. And then I'm going to show you what activities to do to get that content in front of strangers so that your tribe will opt in and find you. And that's how you build your list. That's how I built my list. And that's exactly how all my clients build their list quickly too. And by the way, the challenge is a super easy, short to do. The videos are all, I have a very special way of teaching people. I call an action accelerator. So it's really short content, roughly 10, 15 minutes of instruction, followed by a short action assignment to take, right? And what happens, what I truly believe is that, knowledge just by itself is just knowledge. It's just more crap rattling around in your brain, right? But where you really implement knowledge is when you take an action. So I give you a short, easy to implement, super fast action to take, and that's where people get their aha moments, is when they take that action. So the whole thing takes no more than 30 minutes a day, and by the end of the 5th day, you will know exactly what to say to attract your tribe and how to get what you're talking about in front of strangers.
Wow. Who doesn't need that? That's fabulous. I love that. Thank you for offering that. It's free. And when does it start?
It starts on Monday.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay, that's fabulous. Okay, so Curtis, when you said, how do you develop that list? You want to clarify what you mean by that?
Well, that's right. I think I just answered that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that.
I'm going to teach you that in step 5 in the challenge.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so how you develop a list is lead generation. Lead generation is activities you do. So lead magnet is content or a thing. Lead generation are the activities you do to get that thing, that content in front of people. So in the challenge, I'm going to teach you how to create that content in the first place, and then how to get that in front of strangers. So you can pick the method, the lead generation activity that most fits your lifestyle and your business and who you are.
That's fabulous. That sounds amazing. I love it. Okay, is there anything else you want to share before we open it up for questions here? Any last words that you want to, anything we haven't covered that you want to make sure you share today?
I just want everybody to know that I struggled for so many years to figure this out. And at the end, most of that time I felt completely confused and overwhelmed and just like a hamster spinning on its wheel around and around and around. And what I want everybody on this call to know is that really marketing is not complicated. It's actually very, very simple. Even marketing online, where there's like so many bells and whistles and gurus telling you do this and blah, 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 blah. And when you just chunk it down, just quiet the noise, just calm it down and when you bring it down to its most basic concepts, it's very simple, very easy. And when you do that and take the right actions, you can move your business forward. You can attract clients online effortlessly.
Awesome. And now more than than ever. Like, this is the only way we have. We can't go to networking events. We can't go to workshops or seminars.
My world. This is all of a sudden the rest of the world like caught up with me.
Right, exactly.
For years I've been saying, I help people attract clients online, and I go to networking events or, places like where we met, and people, oh, well, that's nice. Why would you want to do that? I'm like,
You were ahead of the pack here. Well, cool. So let's open up for questions. And I do want to just share a little tip that has to do with visibility. When you attend interviews like this or events or workshops online, you don't want to mute out your video. You want people to see you. And the more you ask questions, the more you speak, the more you share, the more visibility you get, the more people get to feel you and trust you and get interested in you. So please be vocal, please be visible. If you've muted your video, unmute so we can see you and ask questions, right? Because people go, oh, I want to get to know that person. I like that person. I'm going to go reach out on social media and find them, right? So use these opportunities, because this is like the online world now. It's very different than the physical, meeting people in person world. So this is the way to be on these. This is like a benefit, like the icing on the cake. You learn great content from Barb. You get to benefit from her wisdom. Then you get to meet other people who are here and hear them speak and decide if you want to reach out to them or not. So I hope that inspires you to ask a question now and unmute your video. So who wants to ask? I'd love you to share takeaways, insights, ahas. So it's just, just unmute your line. There's a small enough group, just unmute your line and please share. Please share.
Hey, thank you so much for both of this. Both Barb and Debbie, you guys are doing a fantastic job. So thank you so very much. I love what Barb said about asking questions during the discovery session both ways. And just to add to that, something I found that is of value that I want to share with you is, believe it or not, when the client signs up with you, we think we know why they signed up, but ask them right then. Why are you signing up? What are you expecting from this coaching specifically? And then be ready to write it down, because they're telling you exactly what was on their mind when they made the buying decision. So asking, we're so excited, oh, we got one, and we stop thinking, but you got to just stop and still work and say, hey, so tell me, what made you decide to move forward today? Yeah. What was it I said or did that inspired you? And then just listen. So I just wanted to share that.
Rick,
beautiful.
Golden. That is
beautiful.
Golden. Not only to get more marketing, right? Not only to get more marketing, but just to be sure that you are on the same track as your client when you start working with them. Because if you're working thinking that this is their problem and I need to solve that, and you're not addressing the problem that they came to you in the first place, if you don't even know what that is, right? So that's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. I
love that. That was beautiful. Thanks for being so generous and sharing that with everybody.
You're
we all
welcome.
learn so much from each other, right? It's all about asking those questions and being really curious. And if you don't understand, if you're not really clear on what somebody's saying, say, can you tell me more about that? Say more, like, please share more with me about that. Or what do you mean by that? Like, you don't want to ever leave a conversation or a discovery session or any kind of meeting without having clarity, right? And so just a lot of people just don't ask and they just walk away and they wonder, like, I wonder what they meant by that. Ask them, just say, I'm not following you, or I'm not clear. Please share more about that. So you really get inside their head, inside their heart, right? You really get them.
And for so many of us, and Deb, you are so beautiful at that. Like you've been like that ever since I've known you. And I think that's really a hallmark of a person who's great at enrollment, is that you have cultivated curiosity. The problem with most of us is, we're so excited. We got into business in the first place because we're excited about this transformation that we cause, that we can facilitate. And so we just want to stand on a mountaintop and shout it to everybody, right? But what we need to do first is meet people where they're at. And the only way to do that is to listen to who they are, where they are, what's on their mind, what are they struggling with. I know Gay was talking, she's interviewed people and found out that they're depressed and overwhelmed and all this, that is such important information. And when you put that in the context, so when you're talking about your services, we want to take those problems that people are talking about and put it in the context of what they want, their desired outcome. So, so put that in the context of the desired outcome. So, you know, what is it that, and that's of course what you help people do. What we all help people do is reach a desired outcome. Deb helps people get more clients. You know, I help people get more clients. Some of my clients help people find a partner, or, you know, lose weight, or get a different health condition, a better state of health, right? And so then we go into, well, what do you think is the problem that's keeping you from that desired outcome?
Jill said her biggest takeaway is in my interactions has been to be quiet after I ask a prospect a question and listen to their words, not what I think they mean. Love that.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that in this day and age, especially now, especially since we're all so isolated, there's no better gift that you can give someone than to be present and to listen and to not be talking at them, not be speaking, to be listening and asking questions and letting them talk. Because we all know people love to talk about themselves. They love to talk, right? And so if we're letting them talk, their heart's gonna open, their defensive wall will come down, and they'll be more attracted to us and what we have to offer, because they're going to trust us more, because we're not there trying to sell them. We're not there trying to, hose them down. We really care about them, and we really want to listen. It goes such a long way in building the relationship. Gay said, building a bridge from problem to solution was an aha for me. Love it. Cool. Any questions? We have a couple minutes left. Anybody, again, anyone else can come online and we can see you. We'd love to. If Deborah and Curtis or Terry are in a position that you can unmute your video and show us your beautiful faces, and any questions that you have that Barb can answer. And you're going to learn so much during this challenge, and it's free. So I highly recommend you all sign up. I'm going to sign up for it. I want to be part of it. We're always learning, right? We always want to be open to learning no matter where we are in our business, right? So anything else that anybody has?
I have a question.
Yes, Gay.
So I'm a happiness coach, but the reason
love
I say
it.
that is because everything is so overshadowed by COVID. If I talk to people, what's bothering you, all they say is COVID. I hate being in the house, and and so it's hard figuring out what their real problem is, because COVID is over everything.
Well, so what do they want? What do your clients typically want?
Things that I can't give them: to travel more, to get their kids back in school, have this all be over.
Oh, hang on, Gay. So yes, you can give them those.
Okay.
You absolutely can, because when you solve the problem that's keeping them from doing that, then they can, right? I mean, you're not going to buy their plane ticket and help them travel more.
No, I want them to have a different mindset.
But exactly. And so there's something in their mind that they think has them stuck. And that's why they're kind of circling you. They kind of intuitively feel that there's something about you that can help them with that problem, right? That's what I believe about our tribe. So what you want to do is figure out, well, what do you think? I know they're feeling overwhelmed. I know we got COVID. COVID's here, it's always been here. There's always been a version of COVID, okay? And that is the thing that's people, is blaming for why they're not taking action or why they're stuck, right? So if whatever it is, so the first thing you want to know is, what is it that you want, right? And if it's to travel more, obviously that one is, obviously we can't travel, but my partner was saying how, her reason for doing online businesses, she's the one that works across, travels across the world, and COVID stopped her from doing that. She just spent the weekend, she traveled to a little small town, just like 30 miles away from where she lives, and had the whole experience of travel. So, it was wonderful. She didn't go to Italy like she was, wanting to, but she had the same feeling of being able to travel, right? So again, what we want to do is determine what they want and what they think is standing in the way. And it might even be that it's not traveling. It might be that they want new experiences or just peace of mind or, right, something like that. And when you help them identify that, and then you help them bust through what they think is getting in their way, you can have got yourself an eager client ready to invest in your services, but you have a huge fan for life.
Thank you.
Yeah. People need to think outside the box now because they can't go to, they can't go to Italy. I mean, they can go to Italy, but they're probably not going to want to. But yeah, what can you do that's safe in your backyard, right? Where you can get an experience of, because I'll tell you something, so many people now are not taking time off because they're not traveling. And we as entrepreneurs, we need to take time off. Like I was ready to implode. I was working so much without any time off, and a situation revealed itself where I got to stay at a friend's house in Laguna Beach for 2 weeks. They were gone. And what a gift, right? But we don't always have that. But even if we don't, take a day, go to the beach, go wherever you live, do something in nature, just do something to get a change of scenery and a change of pace. We have to do that as entrepreneurs. If not, we're gonna implode. We're just gonna get wiped out and we're gonna get sick, and we don't want that to happen. So we have to keep our immune system strong and keep in a high frame of mind. So anyway, thank you, Barbara, for all of your wisdom. Several people have already signed up for the challenge, so I'm so excited. You're gonna love being with Barb for the week. Anything you want to share about the challenge?
But yeah, that's going to be so much fun. And you guys, I just want to let you know that during the next week, I've also got 3 live Q&A calls.
I was just going to ask if you're doing that.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. So to help people get stuck and help take them deeper into each of the processes. So they're going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't have the times in front of me, but you'll get an email that will give you those times, and just make sure you have some space on your calendar so you can join me live. And let's do this thing. It's going to be just a ton of fun.
That is so generous. Most people, when they do a challenge, they do 1, maybe coaching call, live coaching call. For you to do 3, that's really generous. So.
Oh, you know what else? Speaking of generous, here's what I'm doing that's really fun too. So every day, so you have a small action assignment every day, and then I'm going to ask you a question about the action assignment. And I'm giving an Amazon gift card away every day of the challenge.
Ooh.
I'll be there.
I'm going to pay you to play. I'm going to pay you to play. So all you have to do is answer the question. We have a post for each step for each day, and you just post in the comments of that post the answer to your question, and then we at random pick 1 person a day, and they win an Amazon gift card, and the prize money gets more every day. So it's a little bit, and you can win multiple days. Because it's a total random drawing.
Wow, awesome! That's so fun.
Fun.
Make it
fun. Just why not have fun with it, right?
Totally. We all have to have more fun right now. Get those endorphins kicking in and get into a high frame of mind. So that's awesome. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Barb, for your generosity and for your time. Thank you all for participating, playing full out. Not everyone unmuted, but you guys participate in the chat. So I appreciate it. It makes it more engaging and more fun, and then we can serve you better. So love that you were here. And if you haven't, I know Deborah has been to my networking events. Please join us for our Power Up Your Networking events. On October 7th is the next event. We meet twice a month. And I'm bringing entrepreneurs from all over the world to network, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and everyone's having a blast. They're connecting, they're getting clients, creating JV power partner relationships, and just feeling more connected in this, isolating time. So I'll just put the link in here for you guys to come check it out. We even have a vendor expo. So you can actually have a vendor table and people come visit you, and the vendors are loving it. They're getting clients from it and they're having fun. All right, cool. Awesome.
Debbie, you are such a gift to the world. You are such I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really innovating. You're making all these wonderful opportunities available for people. And you guys, when somebody like Debbie shows up in your world, I want to just totally encourage you. take action, take her up on that. Show up for those networking events, right? When she tells you to unmute and, participate, just do it. Just do it. She's a gift that's come into your world
Oh,
for a reason.
thank you. Oh, Deborah said her networking events are the best. Deborah's been showing up the last several ones. I've met so many great people. Love it. Yes, Deborah, yes, same to you. We are about to go into the Jewish New Year, and she just in Hebrew it's Shana Tova, which is Happy New Year. So we're all about to engage in that this weekend. So Deborah, thank you. Thank you all for being here. You're all awesome. So great to meet some new people who I haven't met. Like Rick, you're new in my world. It's so nice to meet you. Thanks for sharing your wisdom. And great to see you again, Gay. And come network with us. It'll be so fun to see you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Barb, thank you. I'm so grateful to you. And we'll all be in touch soon, hopefully. All right, be well, everybody. Stay safe. Bye for now. Mwah. Bye, everybody.
Ciao for now.
Bye-bye.